सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। Okay. Hari Om Suprabhat. We'll start with are there questions? No questions. World is an illusion. सब कुछ समझ गए?
नहीं, I have a question.
हाँ जी.
For the intrinsic illusion, there is the reality, and there is the projection.
Yes.
But who got that projection? If I say I stumped on something and got stumped the world, but I myself am a part of the illusion. The humans are a part of the illusion. Then how did this illusion come about?
See, generally, I say to this question, I don't have the answer, but actually, I have an answer because something has just come to me. I didn't. They say when you're sitting on the Vyaspeeth, some answers come to you. So immediately, as this question you asked, see, very good question, and I'll answer it in two ways. You have to take both the analogies together, right? The analogy of the rope and snake, as well as the analogy of the waker and dreamer, right? They're two parallel analogies which are trying to convey this idea of the experience of an illusion, right? So, whilst awake, whilst awake, you are the waker experiencing the waking world. The moment you fall asleep, fall into ignorance, fall into a non apprehension, you enter a misapprehension of the dream world. Therein, it is you, now the dreamer. It is you, now the dreamer, experiencing the dream world. See, I'm using the same pronoun. I'm using the same. I'm addressing you as you. Right?
Yeah.
You have to understand the identities are different. The identity of a waker is totally different from the identity of a dreamer. Who the dreamer believes themselves to be, even though I'm calling it, is totally different from who the waker considers themselves, right? For the waker, higher in the echelon of enlightenment, the dreamer is just an imaginary projection, right? It's clear. But if you tell the dreamer that, they'll get offended. So the short answer to your question is who fell into the illusion? You.
That means all of us have fallen. There's nobody
You
who
have fallen into the illusion. But when I use the word you, what's important is it's the comparison between a waker and a dreamer. It's you who is now imagining themselves to be the dreamer. You are imagining yourself to be this individual, ego, limited, constricted individual. Hmm? So, ask any of you, who are you? You'll list me some history and geography about yourselves. You'll tell me a little bit about your family. You'll tell me about how life has been, what's worked out for you, what's not worked out for you. Hmm? You have this limited, constricted idea of who is you. Who is you? I'm using the term is deliberately. Who is you? Right? So the short answer to your question is who has fallen into this illusion? Your question was you stumble upon a rope and you imagine it's a snake. Who is stumbling upon the rope and who has fallen into you have and in the process of this tripping and falling and imagining, you have not only imagined an illusory world, but even an illusory you, right? You've fallen into this um, the ego is very much a creation of this illusion. The ego is very much a part of this illusion, right? What you imagine yourself to be, just as the dreamer imagines themselves to be they know not the other waker. Hmm.
But what causes us to do that? I mean, after all, we are part of the reality. We are reality. But all of a sudden, I mean, how did we stumble upon this world altogether? Because we are part of the world, and the world is the Brahman. We are all Brahman. It comes from the same Atma.
See, all theories exist to pacify the mind. Okay. But here's a reasonable theory. See, analyze your dream. Okay. Suppose yesterday you had a very rushed day, right? You had a very rushed day. It was Sunday. You went to the Christmas market and you saw a couple of things. And then in the hustle and bustle, you bumped into a friend who you haven't seen for a couple of years. And you also got a call from your children who are living abroad. But because you were in a hurry and they were in a hurry, you couldn't speak for long. All of these are passing incomplete experiences you had yesterday. And last night when you went to sleep, all of it merged into some khichdi and became a dream. Huh? You saw your children in the Christmas market. Then you all went to your friend's house after the Christmas market. I mean, these are all incomplete experiences which your own, for the lack of a better word, subconscious is completing for you. Hmm? So when you analyze, first of all, who is analyzing? It's the waker analyzing why did the dream happen? Or the dream happened because of certain unfinished experiences. So what is the theory of vasanas? The theory of vasanas is that your most urgent, your most pressing
Right.
vasanas require manifestation. So it's a theory. It's a good theory. Just as your most unfinished but immediate thoughts create a dream, right? So it's a good theory, but you truly find out when you wake up. Why did this happen? See, but the funny thing about a dream is that when you wake up, you realize what?
It's just,
You don't question why did it happen. You just realize it didn't happen. The biggest realization about a dream is not, oh, why it happened, what all you experienced, what all happened. No, none of that is important. The biggest realization of a dream is it didn't happen. Uh,
so the most important thing is to just become realized. That's the only way we'll understand
if you
anything.
really care about the answer, and I
Yeah,
really wish
yeah.
us do, if you really care about the answer, Vedanta is giving a very simple path, giving a very simple journey. If you really care about the answer, empty yourself, turn quiet, turn introvert, get onto the seat of meditation. So, and a real obsession with the need to know, the need to realize. It's called mumukshatva, the need for liberation, the desire to actually discover, right? As that gets cultivated in you, see, the spiritual journey is not, um, the spiritual journey is more about cultivating this mumukshatva, cultivating this desire. right? And as a result, you drop off a lot of unnecessary things. You were made for more serious stuff. You were made for bigger and greater stuff. That's the message of Vedanta. That enough of this hunky dory, enough of playing around. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. Stop this dance. Enough. Sit up and pay attention. Right? Um, and it says, look, you in this state cannot know everything, just as the dreamer cannot know everything about the waking phenomena. Right? In this state, you can't know anything. But here is a path. I'm giving you a path. I'm giving you a journey. Get onto the journey and discover it for yourself. Ultimately, you need it's pratyaksha, direct experience that
It's
will
going to
give you. So none of these theories are just founded on someone's imagination, right? This is validated by scores of sages and saints over eons who have corroborated this, who have added to the wealth of literature. See, that's why. See, what were the Upanishads? The Upanishads were the declaration of realized souls. The Upanishads were not written by some single, you know, church or seat of power. It wasn't that. It was an organically developed and independently developed body of knowledge, which of course was inspired by past knowledge and by experience of those who have walked this path, the realized sages. They corroborated, say, past Upanishads, and they created Upanishads of their own. What are Upanishads? Most Upanishads follow this sort of question and answer format, where a student is asking and the master, as a means of wanting to communicate the answer, is giving out the Upanishad, right? So, not all Upanishads, so there are some which are not, there are some which are. There are some more very direct terse Upanishads, but nonetheless, they were the proclamations of realized souls who corroborated, and spoke about their lived experience. So, if you really want to know the answer, long and short of it is, if you really want to know the answer, come join the party.
That's the only
And it
way.
is love for it's love for these answers which will, see, as I said, in the beginning of your journey, it's a suspicion. Uh, then it grows into a understanding. Then it develops into a conviction. Then comes realization. The ultimate is realization, right? Swamiji used to say, just have the suspicion. If you sustain the suspicion itself, the progression into an understanding, the progression into a conviction is going to happen. You just have to the work you have to do is hold on to that thought. Wake up with the thought each morning.
Thank you.
Utsav ji, please correct me if my thinking is right or wrong. हम सत्य की खोज में हैं
हाँ
और
जी।
सत्य जो है वो अटल है, हमेशा है, और हम उसी की खोज में हैं, और हम नकली चीजें हमेशा देखते हैं जो असली नहीं है। तो अगर नकलियों को ही देखते रहें तो देखते देखते हमारे को इतना अभ्यास हो जाएगा कि नकली तो नकली है ही और असली भी नजर आना शुरू हो जाएगा। जैसे मैं वेगली यूज कर रहा हूं एक वर्ड, सिख यूज करते हैं सत श्री अकाल। इसमें 3 वर्ड हैं। सत्य इज ट्रुथ, श्री इज गॉड, अकाल मीन जिसका कोई टाइम नहीं है, इट्स इनफाइनाइट। तो हम लोग उसी की खोज में हैं। एक्चुअली हमारी जो भी साधना है सत्य की खोज में है। तो हम देखते क्या है? सत्य नहीं देखते। हम सब कुछ जो देखते हैं वो नश्वर है, सब नाश होने वाला है। तो देखते 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 हमारे को इतना अभ्यास हो जाना चाहिए कि ये नाश होने वाला है, ये नाश नहीं होने वाला। वो उसका अभ्यास होना शुरू हो जाए तो हमारा रास्ता अपने आप ही थोड़ा उस तरफ होना शुरू हो जाएगा। प्लीज करेक्ट मी इफ आई एम राइट और रॉन्ग।
ये बहुत सही चीज कहा आपने। देखिए, आपने जितना अनुभव किया है, अनुभव से भी एक जो मैच्योरिटी आती है, एंड जिसका आपने जिक्र किया, व्हाट यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट इज दैट स्पिरिट ऑफ साक्षी, दैट स्पिरिट ऑफ ऑब्जर्वेशन। कि देखिए, हर एज में, हर समय में अपने हमारे डिजायर के अनुसार हमें ऑब्सेशन हो जाती है, किसी चीज की, किसी वस्तु की, किसी 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 आदमी की, either a person or a thing. We get obsessed with that thing based on our desires for it, and we begin to consider that as all important, that as, you know, what is the be all and end all of the world, what is real and meaningful and and at the pedestal, right? But if we stay long enough, if we watch long enough, हाँ, हम टी ट्वेंटी के जमाने में तो सब कुछ अच्छा लगता है। मौज मस्ती, बट बोर्डम भी जल्दी आ जाती है। अगर आप टेस्ट मैच खेलोगे, अगर आप देखते जाओगे, तो आप देखोगे कि सब कुछ नाशवान है, एग्जैक्टली व्हाट यू सेड। एवरीथिंग कम्स एंड गोज, एवरीथिंग passes, एवरीथिंग हैज एन ebb and flow, everything rises and falls, everything has a manifestation and an unmanifestation. Not only that, your own your own mental relationship with things change over time. जिसको आप बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट मानते हो, इमीजिएटली इट विल बिकम अनइम्पॉर्टेंट, लेस एंड लेस इंपॉर्टेंट। जिसको आप ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंस नहीं देते थे पहले, दैट विल बिकम मोर इंपॉर्टेंट। ये तो आपके मन का खेल है। एंड वॉट एवर योर माइंड रिगार्ड्स इज मोर इम्पॉर्टेंट इज वॉट इट प्लेसेस एट अ पेडेस्टल। सो एक ऑब्जेक्टिविटी आती है, एक ऑब्जेक्टिविटी आती है, साक्षी भाव से एक ऑब्जेक्टिविटी आती है कि जैसा आपका मन वैसी आपकी दुनिया। अगर आप 35 साल की हो, आप फैमिली शुरू कर रहे हो, प्रॉपर्टी प्रॉपर्टी प्रॉपर्टी, आपका मन क्या कह रहा है? ज़्यादा धन कमाओ, ज़्यादा प्रॉपर्टी कमाओ, ये करो वो करो, आपके मन में ये चल रहा है, राइट? 10 साल पहले क्या चल रहा था? मौज करो, ऐश करो, पार्टी करो दोस्तों के साथ, राइट? माइंड एंड इट्स एब्स एंड फ्लोज इज क्रिएटिंग योर वर्ल्ड।
नहीं नहीं, मेरा मतलब है कि हमको उस बॉर्डर लाइन देखनी है, जो जो सात्वत, जो मतलब कि टाइम इज ऑल्सो इम्पोर्टेंट, टाइम ऑल्सो इज।
एग्जैक्टली, वॉच योर ओन माइंड, दैट्स इट।
या,
चेंज ओवर। अपने आप को 5 साल दे दो बस। हाँ, आज से 5 साल साक्षी भाव में बिताओ बिताओ।
बिल्कुल, थैंक यू, यही
आज
मैं
से
बोल।
5 साल साक्षी भाव में बिताओ। देखो आपका मन कैसे चेंज होता है, लोगों के प्रति, वस्तुओं के प्रति, आइडियाज एंड आइडियोलॉजीज के प्रति। बी एन ऑब्जर्वर। So absolutely, time is a very important facet of it, right? हम कहते हैं ना, जो जैसे आप आदि शंकराचार्य ले लो, कि रामना महर्षि ले लो, दे केम गिफ्टेड,
या,
they came gifted with a certain conviction, right? जैसे सस्पेशन, अंडरस्टैंडिंग, कन्विक्शन, रियलाइजेशन। सस्पेशन, अंडरस्टैंडिंग, कन्विक्शन, रियलाइजेशन, इसे समय लगता है। हम्म? अगर आपको इस सब्जेक्ट के प्रति अट्रैक्शन है, बहुत लोग होंगे जिन्हें इन सब्जेक्ट में इंटरेस्ट भी नहीं होगा, उन्हें सस्पेशन भी नहीं है जी, छोड़ो। और अगर आप इस सब्जेक्ट में इंटरेस्ट ले रहे हो, थोड़ी बहुत सुन रहे हो, सुबह सुबह 7 बजे 8 बजे आ रहे हो इस क्लास को अटेंड करने के लिए, तो एटलीस्ट एक सस्पिशन तो है, एक जिज्ञासा है, ठीक है, वो सस्पिशन भी नहीं है, बट एटलीस्ट एक जिज्ञासा है। इस जिज्ञासा को एक सीरियस सस्पिशन में बदलो। दैट इज सम अमाउंट ऑफ वर्क, उसमें समय लगता है। उस सस्पिशन को ट्रू अंडरस्टैंडिंग में, अभी मुझे 10-15 साल हो गए, एंड आई विल टेल यू दैट अंडरस्टैंडिंग इज स्टिल इवॉल्विंग अबाउट व्हाट इज एग्जैक्टली। हम बातें तो बहुत करते हैं, बहुत बार मैंने रीटा जी के जैसे क्वेश्चंस आंसर किए हैं, बट एवरी टाइम आई आंसर द क्वेश्चन, द अंडरस्टैंडिंग ग्रोस। जिसकी जितनी आप इसके बारे में पढ़ोगे, समझोगे, चर्चा करोगे, उतनी आपकी अंडरस्टैंडिंग गहरी होगी, राइट? तो उस अंडरस्टैंडिंग में भी समय लगता है, एंड स्लोली स्लोली बिकम्स इनटू अ कन्विक्शन। पीपल लाइक, ग्रेट सोल्स लाइक Ramana Maharishi, like Ramatirtha, like endless sages. Even now, every 10-15 years, we see someone incredible. 20-25 years, every time we see someone incredible. You know, in this land. They have done a lot of work. They have bid their time. Huh? They have generated this, they have developed
नहीं
this.
उत्सव जी, हम उनकी जो लाइफ देखते हैं, हम सोचते हैं 25 साल में उन्होंने ये किया। हम ये भूल जाते हैं कि उन्होंने जो पिछले जन्मों में जो भी कुछ किया है, दे हैव कैरिड फॉरवर्ड। तो हमको भी जो है कैरिड फॉरवर्ड होना है। जो
ऐसी
हम
बात नहीं ओम जी, मैं ये भी कहूंगा, वेदांता ये भी कहता है, आप अपने आप को अंडर एस्टिमेट नहीं करो, मत करो। आपने जितना किया है, हाँ, आप तो रामतीर्थ को देख करके बोलते हो उन्होंने अपना।
नहीं नहीं नहीं, मैं
नहीं,
ऐसे
मैं सबकी बात कर रहा हूँ, मैं सिर्फ आपकी बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ। सी, the fact that you are even listening to this piece of information, that we are even discussing this, is a big thing. You are 0.00001%, not even that, of all beings इस इस सृष्टि में, इस ब्रह्मांड में कितने जीव जंतु हैं, उनमें से आप one, I don't even know the terms, gazillionth or whatever term you want to use, 1 ट्रिलियन कितने कीड़े मकोड़े हैं इस दुनिया में, उनकी योनि में तो आपका जन्म नहीं हुआ। कितने जानवर हैं इस दुनिया में, उनकी तो योनि में आपका जन्म नहीं हुआ। आपका जन्म हुआ इस ह्यूमन फॉर्म में। उनमें भी आपका जन्म ऐसे परिवार में हुआ जहाँ इस नॉलेज को महत्व दिया जाता है। आप ऐसे देश में पैदा हुए जहाँ इस नॉलेज को महत्व दिया जाता है। और आपकी प्रवृत्ति ऐसी थी, आपका नेचर ऐसा था कि आपको इस नॉलेज में इंटरेस्ट है। बहुत लोग साधु संत की फैमिली में तो पैदा होते हैं, बट उनको रुचि नहीं होती, राइट?
नहीं, मैं ये भी सोचता हूँ कि नाम का भी असर है। किसी ने कहा है कि जो नेम है, दैट इज ए सॉर्ट ऑफ ए कॉन्ट्रैक्ट ऑफ द सोल टू रिसर्च कि भी तुम हो क्या। सब लोग आपको ये नाम से बुलाते हैं, बुलाते बुलाते।
सुनिए,
तो
आपकी जो साधना है ना, इतनी नाजुक नहीं है कि एक नाम देने से बदल जाएगा। आपको जो नाम आना चाहिए ना, वो आ जाता है, लाइक एवरीथिंग एल्स, राइट? और
आप
अगर बदलना है तो बदल भी देंगे, क्या बड़ी बात है।
आपका नाम जन्म का है या ये दिया हुआ है?
मेरा नाम तो जन्म का है।
जन्म का। तो कितना अच्छा नाम है, उत्सव। यू
मेरे पापा,
सेलिब्रेशन, यू आर सेलिब्रेटिंग सो मेनी थिंग्स, यू आर सेलिब्रेटिंग। उत्सव इज ए फेस्टिवल, इजंट इट?
इंडीड, इंडीड। ओके जी, यस अंकित, यू हैड अ क्वेश्चन। थैंक यू सर। हाँ,
No, I just wanted to clarify something which you were answering to Rita ji's question, that so basically there's no specific theory about why we see this world as an illusion. It's just something which we have to suspect and be comfortable with, not really ever knowing. Like it's until
yeah. Why did you fall into this illusion? Like,
yeah.
it's there's no concrete answer to a why. See, finding a why and justifying it and finding an explanation and understanding of it only perpetuates the illusion. अरे उठो, फिर ये सब पूछना। That's Vedanta's message. उठो, फिर ये सब पूछना।
Because sorry, go on.
When you wake up, we'll talk about it over breakfast. Not you, the waker, the trance waker. You are like the dreamer right now. When you wake up from this dream personality to your real identity, then you will.
Yeah, because in certain schools of thought, they theorize that this is just a test. Like I was watching some popular TV show, and the character shot of something, and then he's about to die, and then in his hallucination before he's dying or something, he's like trying to convince himself that all of this wasn't just a test, so we don't have any such sort of theory in Vedanta, right?
No, see, it's very, it goes back to the concept of God, which we're going to talk about today. We want to think that, oh, there is some entity that is testing us, some bigger scheme and power that is, controlling us, that is, turning the screws of karma and setting the laws of karma. No, you know. So it's very, see, the more you theorize, na, it's also important to stop theorizing. It's also important to stop theorizing. It's also important to stop. Um, um, Otherwise, you become a jigyasu and not a jnani, right? Um, Not to say that you shouldn't ask questions, but beyond the point, what should hold more weight, hold more water, I guess. What should carry more weight, hold more water, um, is someone who is conveying their lived experience rather than someone who's giving a more elaborate theory. Hmm? Theories are good to convey a concept, but ultimately, what should drive us is the conviction of others, hmm, and turn that into a conviction about ourselves. Or uh, we should resonate with the conviction and realization, the lived experience of others. Yeah. Um, Only because experiment is not possible. I mean, it's as good as an experiment. We are asking you to experiment. See, even the scientific method, after a bunch of theory, you have to get into the practical experience. So Vedanta is just asking you, okay, now you've heard the theory. Now actually play with it. Empty your mind, see what will happen. Waken your mind of all thoughts. Okay, how to waken my mind of all thoughts? It's filled with innumerable desires. Gradually reduce the quantum of desires, improve the quality of desires, shift the direction of your desires. Karma Bhakti Jnana. Karma Bhakti Jnana is the first step of the experiment, it's the preparation of the laboratory. Uh, Karma Bhakti Jnana is the first set of steps in the experiment. The culmination of the experiment is meditation, dhyana. But it's very um, we want to think that there is some power that is testing us, that there is some, sort of higher body or a group of, managing trustees of this world that are, testing us in this. It's a very matrix like feel, like that some amount of it goes back to the human tendency to posit a god, to posit a creator, to posit a controller, right? And Vedanta says, no, 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 no. Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? This thing, this entity, this unknown that you call God. See, मैं नास्तिक नहीं हूँ. हम नास्तिक की तरह बात नहीं कर रहे. We're not saying there is no God. We're saying what you understand of God is wrong. The world is not created by God. The moment you say the world is created by God, you separate the world and God. It says the world.
Hello.
It says the world is God, and that's the section we're going to study right now. The temptation is to always posit, oh, someone is responsible in controlling and managing this. No, take a step back. What's the need? What's the need to do that? Right? He's going to uh, talk about that in this section. So we've covered the intrinsic and the extrinsic illusions, and a very fascinating declaration of Vedanta. The world is not created by God. The world is God.
But sir, we have earlier we have heard from you that the everything is working meticulously. Our body functions are working meticulously because there is some unseen hand who is taking care of everything.
See, we usually use that phrase when we talk about bhakti. Hmm? That when something is functioning so meticulously, I choose my words carefully. I don't say there is something that is controlling. I say the mind has a tendency to want to posit a creator, a controller. The word is posit. When we see something functioning beautifully, we posit an architect behind it. Hmm? As you evolve in bhakti, it's not so much the ordainer that matters, but the ordainment. See, where ज्ञान और भक्ति का संगम कहाँ होता है? When you lose the need for a figure, when you lose the need for um, a
When
singular,
you lose the need to pacify your mind.
all those things, correct. On the from the jnani side, there's no need for more theories. From the bhakta side, there's no need for more idols and personalities. ज्ञान एंड भक्ति का संगम वहां होता है. When you realize, see, भज गोविंदम में एक श्लोक है, काते कांता धनगत चिंता वातुल किम तव नास्ति नियंता. What is your worry about wealth and wife and family and name and fame? Don't you know there is an ordainer? How will a bhakta understand that? A bhakta will understand that as, don't you know एक भगवान है जो सब कुछ संभाल रहे हैं. How will a jnani understand that? Don't you know there is a law of karma that is functioning meticulously? Hmm? Now उस कर्मा के पीछे क्या है, कौन है? For a bhakta, in the initial stages of bhakti, you're obsessed with, oh, there is a personality behind the control. As you evolve in bhakti, you realize what matters more is the fact that there is a law functioning, and not, oh, there is someone who's making it function. Someone. See, as I said, in the beginning stages, to pacify your mind, I used the term last time, anthropomorphic. We give this unknown, unseen entity a human-like form. We make it look like a human. Yes, with more arms to make it look super powerful, but actually we give it a human form. It just pacifies our mind कि हाँ, हमारे जैसा कोई है जो देख रहा है. See, it's like politics ना. The Marathas want the Marathi chief minister, the Adivasis want the Adivasi chief minister, the SCs want the SC chief minister. हमारा है तो कोई संभल जाएगा. हाँ? You have to graduate from that type of thinking, right? So what matters, so as you evolve even in bhakti, you fall in love not with the creator. You develop that sense of surrender not to the creator, but to the law. Hmm? You get the difference.
Actually,
Difference.
it's just comforting to know that there is a God, I think.
There is. We're not saying there isn't. See, please understand that. We're not saying there isn't. It's just not what you thought it was. It's not
So
a
so so
it's not a separate entity that is your father figure. It is not a 10-armed no doubt there is a God. Vedanta says tat
we resonate so easily,
Vedanta
as you said.
says
Sorry.
you are God.
गुरु नानक ने तो उसका नाम भी दिया है कर्ता पुरुष. उन्होंने गॉड नहीं बोला, कर्ता पुरुष, मतलब करने वाला पुरुष.
जिस हद देखिए, गॉड इज नॉट अ पर्सन, गॉड इज अ पोजिशन. गॉड इज नॉट अ पर्सन, गॉड इज अ पोजिशन. It ties back to what Karta Purak means. एंड जितने आप इस सृष्टि के कर्म योग में ऊपर चढ़ोगे, उस हद तक आप भगवान बनोगे. सी लाइक अ सीईओ, फॉर अ पियोन द सीईओ इज गॉड.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
For a common citizen, the prime minister is God. At the stroke of one signature, you can Jan Dhan Yojana and what is the building the houses? Millions and millions of people, the houses have been built just by one signature. What is that? Forget prime minister. For a lay person, the local district councillor is the god, or at least agent of God. One signature. And when we go up to the Gita Academy in Rishikesh, every time Shivendra Nagarji points out to us, there's a village you cross, every time he points out to us, this village was a model village for G20. G20 summit हुई थी last year. So, of course, मेहमान आ रहे हैं तो थोड़ा घर सजाना पड़ेगा. पूरा घर नहीं सजा सकते तो थोड़ा थोड़ा तो सजा लो. हाँ. So they picked one village in Uttarakhand as a model village. I'm sure they picked many such villages in different areas. So in Uttarakhand, in this area, in Garhwal, they chose this village as a model village to demonstrate, okay, how the village life is and how village houses are and village culture is. But of course, if you're showing that, you also have to show good infrastructure. So with one signature, what happened? This village became a model village. Everybody in the house not only got good houses, but also got great sanitation and pipeline and electricity and this and that. What happened? अब मौज कर रहे हैं. See, for them, that is the world. It's incredible. Their life is totally changed. So, Kartapurak, as you rise in the echelons of karma, as you evolve, spiritual evolution culminates in godhood. So we'll come to that. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag. First of all, God is not a creator of this world. This world is God.
World is God. The world is not created by God. The world is God. Brahman. The elements that constitute the world are all Brahman. But when the component elements are brought together, the resultant formation seems different. The resultant acquires properties different from those of the components. Here are examples to substantiate this truth. Take the example of 4 triangles. They are right-angled triangles. Place the 4 triangles with their vertices meeting at a point. They form a square. Study them separately. The components are the triangles. They combine to form a square. The square is created as a result of combining the triangles. The triangles have each 2 acute angles and a right angle. The hypotenuse is longer than the other 2 sides, whereas the square has all right angles and the sides are equal. The properties of the resulting formation are different from the properties of the original components. The new properties have risen from a new combination, a new formation of the components. The resultant is just a new name, a new form. No creator need to be brought into this phenomenon.
Nama Rupa. A new name, a new form. Nama Rupa. This is a term directly from the Upanishads. See, in the Upanishads, they won't explain so much. Student will ask a question, teacher will say, everything is Nama Rupa. You'll have to understand all of this. What does it imply? In that one statement, the teacher is saying, "Arey, why are you bringing in God? Everything is Nama Rupa, just a change of configuration, and as a result, change of appearance. Nama Rupa. Because of a change in configuration, there is a new form. उस नए फॉर्म को आपने नया नाम दे दिया है. Because of the coming together of four triangles, you created a square. Four triangles came together and created a square. Oh, square is created. A square is created. Arey, big deal. Who created the square? Oh my God, what created the square? Square is created by four triangles, Nama Rupa. Why are you bringing in a creator, someone who brought the squares together, triangles together? The new properties are not created by a creator. The new properties have just emerged from this new configuration. That's about it. A square has four right angles. It's different from any of the individual triangles. Each triangle has one right angle and two acute angles, 45 degrees. See, these are some mathematical terms. If you're not understanding what is hypotenuse, what is acute angle, don't worry. Huh? This is not going to be a test in geometry. Okay. I won't ask you to prove congruency of all these things. Hypotenuse, incidentally, just sometimes I could have been two things in life. I'm currently a Vedanta teacher, but I could have also been a mathematics teacher. Please don't ask me for mathematics tuitions for your children and grandchildren, okay? I would love to, but I'm a little busy right now nowadays. So next thing I'll know, my grandson has his ICSE this year. Please, he's very worried. Along with Vedanta teaching some calculus also. Vedanta to calm his mind and calculus to ensure he passes in the exam.
We have Chetna ji in the group.
Exactly. Everyone go to Chetna ji for math.
But to have a teacher who could teach both.
This is a Marwadi thinking.
No, like I'm just saying, while teaching, suppose triangles and squares, you would impart knowledge about Vedanta as well. That would be so nice for kids, right?
Do not tell your children about origins when you're teaching them about triangles and squares. That's the point, we want to make a khichdi of everything. Anyway, jokes apart. In any triangle, there are two shorter sides, and in any right angle triangle, Chetna ji, correct me if I'm wrong. in a right angle triangle, the two sides, the third side is called a hypotenuse. These are all Greek creations, okay? Because the Greeks did a great thing of formulating a lot of trigonometry. So all these terms come from Greece. Hypotenuse. It's Pythagorean. Pythagoras was a Greek mathematician, and all these terms came from that Pythagorean school. I hope I'm saying the right things. Of course, this knowledge existed elsewhere also, but that's not important. Anyway, so this side is called the hypotenuse, and this hypotenuse is longer than each of the individual sides. In fact, there's a famous formula: a square plus b square equals c square. All your children are struggling with it in middle school right now. This formula. This formula is the sole reason for your children not getting 95 out of 100 minimum. A square plus B square equals C square. Square, 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 So, point being that look, in a triangle, two sides are of the same length, the third side is longer. But in a square, all sides are the same. This length is equal to this length equals to this length. New properties have been acquired simply by the new configuration, Nama Rupa. And because new properties have been acquired, you've changed the name from a triangle or a set of triangles to a square. So when there is a change of configuration, when there is a change of form, don't be in a hurry to bring in, what created this? There's no need to rush into that, to give into that urge, right? He's presenting that idea. Okay.
Another example, two atoms of hydrogen combine with an atom of oxygen to form a molecule of water. Hydrogen is a combustible gas. Oxygen, a gas supporting combustion. Their combination produces water which extinguishes combustion. A combustible gas combines with a combustion supporting gas to form a combustion extinguishing liquid. It is incredible, but true. The resulting compound owes its status to a new name, new form, new configuration.
See, if you don't understand illusion and all, you may not have got it, you may not be able to convey it to your family members. That's okay, but at least you can go back and brag about something. If mathematics wasn't your fancy, at least chemistry might be your fancy. This is chemistry.
Guruji was ardent fan of science and maths, I believe.
Sorry?
Guruji was an ardent fan of science and maths.
He got so, he was so thrilled. See, my friend and I, we joined together. We both studied mathematics and we joined the course together. For the next 3 years, he didn't stop talking about it. It will be my foolishness if I take that as a compliment on me. No, but he was just he was just fascinated. He was just, he had that thought that, okay, if you're a maths and science student, you'll be able to understand this knowledge even better, particularly the way in which I explain it. That was his opinion, that to understand the nuances and the deeper messages of this knowledge, one should and ought to be trained in the scientific disciplines, particularly mathematics, right? So he was a big fan, and naturally it reflects in the way he writes. It reflects in some of these examples he gives. So coming back, two atoms of hydrogen combine with one atom of oxygen to create a molecule of water, H2O. Two things are combining to create something, and those two things, both of them, hydrogen is a combustible gas, means you can easily catch fire, right, in certain scenarios. Oxygen is a gas supporting combustion. In fact, usually to put off a fire, that's the principle of fire extinguishers. They cut oxygen supply because oxygen is a gas that supports combustion. I'm not going into the technicalities of it, of the chemistry of it. What's important to understand is that hydrogen is a combustible gas, and oxygen supports combustion. Means supports fires. Combustion is fires. So one is a gas that easily catches fire. One is a gas that supports fire. You bring them two together, what happens? You get water. Water is used to put off fires. Two of them are gases. They are gaseous in nature. You combine them, you get a liquid. Change in form, change in properties. We gave it a new name, water, Nama Rupa. and completely different. अरे someone must have done something. Someone must have done something कि इतना बड़ा चमत्कार हो गया. Think about it. How is it possible? बिना किसी के खेल के दो गैसेस एक लिक्विड बन रहे हैं. आप सोचिए इस बात को. दो दो कंबस्टिबल चीजें पानी बन रहे हैं जो कंबशन बंद करता है. किसी ने तो कुछ बीच में टांग अड़ाई होगी. किसी ने तो कुछ ना कुछ तो किया ही होगा. The human mind really wants to have that sense. It always wants to posit a creator. But what's the need? You're seeing it happen in nature all the time. Two things coming together and creating something altogether different, altogether bizarre. Nama Rupa. The third example is very good.
But this is the nature of the chemical reactions. All reactions are like that. They create heat. They create.
Indeed,
Yeah.
it's the nature of things.
Yeah. And the reverse is also true. You need energy to separate them. ऑक्सीजन और हाइड्रोजन को सेपरेट करके आजकल हाइड्रोजन निकाल रहे हैं यूजिंग एज ए फ्यूल. सो रिवर्स इज आल्सो ट्रू.
Yeah, there's no reverse out there. I mean, that's not really relevant, but that's
पर वो जो पानी बन रहा है वो उसको आग को बुझा नहीं सकता. वो जो हाइड्रोजन और ऑक्सीजन को जो मिलके जो पानी बनता है वो उस गर्मी को ठंडा नहीं कर सकता. एक्स्ट्रा वाटर इज रिक्वायर्ड.
no, absolutely. I mean, point we're trying to make is the nature of
केमिकल रिएक्शन का ऐसा ही है.
creates a third entity. यहाँ पे भगवान की कोई जरूरत नहीं हुई है. ये अपने आप में ही हुआ है. बस that's what we're saying.
Yeah.
Another fascinating example is that of the element carbon. Charcoal is carbon. Diamond is carbon. Charcoal is black, dull, whereas diamond is brilliant. Charcoal is soft and it can make mark on a paper, while diamond is hard and it can cut through metal. Charcoal is cheap, diamond precious. Notwithstanding all these differences, both are made of carbon. The differences are in the structure of the carbon atoms in them. They differ only in the combination of the same component element. The differences are in the structure of the carbon atoms in them. They differ only in the combination of the same component element. The different combinations create the wild in the properties of the resultant form and name. Nothing else. Vedanta declares, therefore, the difference between Brahman and the world is the difference between triangles and square, between hydrogen, oxygen, and water, between carbon and charcoal diamond. The same divinity that is Brahman is the world. The world is not any different from Brahman, and yet they seem opposed in their nature. Brahman is eternal, all-pervading, infinite, while the world is ephemeral, limited, finite. All the differences lie just in the name and form, in combination and configuration, resulting in a mere illusion. You must get off the illusion. Realize your true self. Then there is divinity alone. The supreme reality reveals itself.
God is illusion?
Sorry?
God is illusion?
No, the distinction between the world and God, the separation, that sense of a difference between the two is the illusion. God is the world, that's the truth. This world,
Earlier you had said this world is Maya.
Hmm.
Now you're saying world is Brahman.
Kshara, Akshara, Uttama Purusha. We don't have enough time for me to explain that whole thing right now. The world, as you see it, perceive it, is an illusion. Because what you call the world is the transient, ephemeral things and beings that compose the world. That's the illusion. So the movie is the illusion, the screen is the reality. The movie is the illusion, the screen is the reality. The movie is just a projection upon the screen. Similarly, so in that sense, but for the observer, first of all, they need to acknowledge that the movie and the screen are one. There is no separation between the two. So when he says that Brahman, the world is Brahman, what he's saying is the projection on the screen is the screen, is on the screen, is as good as the screen. There's no separation between them. It's not that the screen created the movie. The screen didn't create the movie. See, what we want to think is, oh, there is a God that created the world. No, the screen didn't create the movie. The movie is a projection upon the screen. When you're actually looking at the screen, you see the movie. So when you're seeing the movie, go beyond what you're seeing and reach the underlying screen. Go beyond the passing characters and go beyond the passing scenes and the landscape and everything and get to the underlying screen. Get above the illusion of the movie and reach the screen. That's what he means by self-realization. Read it again. Read this entire chapter again.
But Utsav, who was given the name God as a generator, operator, and a destroyer? That is a Hindu philosophy. We say Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, creator, operator, and destroyer. This is a definition also given.
Indeed.
But again, as you say, it's a Maya or illusion, or you can say mystery.
When you go beyond this world, you go beyond Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh.
Yeah.
When you go beyond self-realization, Brahma, Satya, Jagat, Mithya. Because आपने जगत बनाया है, because आपने जगत प्रोजेक्ट किया है, Brahman percolates every aspect of the world, and the fundamental powers that appear to manage this world, that appear to pervade this world, are creation, destruction, and maintenance. Those three aspects of the world were given a divine form, were divinized into Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh.
It's a continuous process.
So long as this world exists in your consciousness, the power of creation, Brahma, the power of destruction, Mahesh, and the power of maintenance, Vishnu. And all is actually one. The Tattreya. They are different aspects of the same power, the Tattreya. But all of this only because you're talking about a world. The moment you wake up, no world.
आपने तो कहा एक बार पढ़ो, मैं तो कहता हूँ बार बार पढ़ो.
So, see, we have to play by the rules of the game. Who are we talking about? What are we talking about? And that's the beauty of this philosophy is that it gives a way of understanding for every seeker at every level. If you're in kindergarten, it'll give very cute and elaborate imagery. If you're a junior school, it'll give a simple explanation. If you're in middle school, it'll give a moderate explanation. If you're a graduation student, it'll give a serious explanation. If you're a PhD level, it'll give an Upanishadic explanation, right? So
Absolutely.
when you're studying chemistry the first time, you're given cute little pictures. Oh, an atom is circular. Inside that there are, nice bubbles called protons and neutrons and electrons. When you study PhD level chemistry, it's a totally different thing. What PhD level? Even when you study graduate level chemistry, what is an electron? It's a fascinating thing, you know. But that level of complexity, a middle school is not able to understand, right? So similarly, when we talk about the subject of God, to introduce the idea, we give it these imageries, we give it these forms, we give it these characters, we give it some explanations and theories. But as we evolve, we have to become more and more. We have to unlearn a lot of ideas. Just as a chemistry student has to unlearn that an atom is circular and there are, these bubbles inside it. They have to unlearn all of that, right? Okay, so if all of this is an illusion, everything is illusion, what on earth am I doing? Why heed an illusion? We'll quickly cover this because this is the last section.
Why heed an illusion? If the world is a mere illusion, then all that goes with the world is illusory. That being so, then Vedanta and its philosophy also becomes a part of the illusion. How then can it carry any more credibility, any more importance than the rest of the illusion? What respect and regard can Vedanta boast of when it's just an aspect of the illusory projection? Why heed this part of the illusion? Why hang on to Vedanta alone? How can one part of the illusion pull you out of the entire illusion? It is a pertinent question.
It's a very pertinent question. If you're saying this whole world is an illusion, that means for you I am an illusion. The knowledge I'm speaking in is illusion. The text from where I study this knowledge is an illusion. This entire body of Vedanta is an illusion. I think you're just confusing me. You're trapping me. I have no interest to trap you. I have nothing to gain from you. In fact, I have all to gain from you, all your love and respect, but nothing else. I don't want anything from you if you don't want to give me. So why heed an illusion? If Vedantic knowledge is also part of this illusion, why heed an illusion? Right? It's like someone entering your dream and telling you, this is just a dream. I mean, but that is also a part of the dream. Suppose I had the opportunity of appearing in your dream. I am also part of your dream and I'm telling you this is a dream. How can a part of the dream say that? So Vedanta provides a brilliant answer to this. It's not so much a theory or a concept, but just a satisfactory. I mean, to me, it's a satisfactory justification. No need to ask more questions, right? With this explanation, so it's a pertinent question to which Vedanta provides a brilliant answer, if you ask me.
Vedanta provides a brilliant answer. It is true that the knowledge and philosophy imparted by Vedanta is a part of the illusory world. But it has one distinction which all other parts of the illusion lack. Its unique character is highlighted in one potent simile, Swapna Simhavat, which means like a dream lion. The philosophy of Vedanta is compared to the lion. Imagine a dreamer suddenly encounters a lion in the dream. The lion is a part of the dream world, a figment of imagination like the rest of the dream. But the lion in the dream has one distinct character which is denied to all other parts of the dream. It is its faculty to catapult the dreamer from the dreaming state to the waking state. When the lion pounces on the dreamer, he is startled, terrified. He jumps out of the bed. The lion wakes him up, as it were. The dream lion is no doubt a part of the dream, but it has the ability to swallow up the entire dream, itself vanishing in the act. Vedanta plays the role of the dream lion in the world. Its chaste knowledge is admittedly a part of the illusory world, but it has the unique power to dissolve the entire world, dissolving itself in the process. That transports the waker to God consciousness, to the ultimate spiritual enlightenment.
So Vedanta is like a dream lion. It's very much part of the dream. It's very much illusory. But imagine you're dreaming and the dream lion is chasing you. You're terrified. You're terrified. You reach a dead end. And only you and the lion are there. You're done for. You're sweating profusely. You're remembering all the good times you had in your life because now you're going to become fresh meat. And the lion has no emotion. Lion only sees dinner. And slowly, 1 second, boom, the lion pounces on you. No sooner did the lion pounced on you than you woke up. All that fear, all that worry, all that sweat vanished. You're no longer meat, you're awake. So the lion, even though it is part of the dream, it forces you out of the dream. It's that catalyst that forces you out of the dream. Vedanta is that catalyst. It'll explain to you, it'll give you concepts. Sometimes it may even scare you. It may terrify you. Some of this knowledge, if you consider it seriously, it should unsettle you a little bit. Not too much. That's why we don't speak about this every day, because it'll unsettle you too much. Maybe we should. But the right balance is important. Part of this knowledge should unsettle you, because that is what will give you the conviction to walk this path and to climb out of this illusory experience. What I said to Rita ji in the beginning, that you have to fall in love with the mystery. You have to fall in love with the answer, to develop that desire to grow out of it. So Vedanta plays that role of a dream lion. It helps you catapult out of the dream. Once you're awake, no Vedanta, no theory, no Sanatana Dharma, no God, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, no nothing. Brahma Satya, Jagat Mithya. Once you're out of it, you wake up. But this entire body of knowledge, Vedanta and Sanatana Dharma, It plays the role of helping you. That's its purpose. Of course, it helps you manage your stress, manage your relationships, deal with your problems, deal with your issues, uh, have a better life. No doubt, it helps you do that. But ultimately, the main purpose and the ultimate gift of Vedanta is it helps a seeker walk the path to enlightenment. With that thought, we'll conclude today and we'll talk about the reality. So, having talked about the illusion, we'll talk about the reality. What is this reality we are talking all about? Right? We'll talk about it in the next class. So, Hari Om, thank you so much and see you on Wednesday. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you